Some random number. Do I even answer this? Hello?
Hi, this is Emma from the Vehicle Service Center. We have not received a reply to notices that you have received in the mail regarding your vehicle service contract. These notices are to inform you that your vehicle's coverage may have lapsed and you're responsible for all maintenance required on your vehicle. We're offering you one last opportunity to extend or renew your vehicle's coverage. To speak with a coverage specialist to go over your options, press 1. Again, please press 1.
Hi, this is Samantha with the Warranty Division. Can you please verify the year, make, and the model of your vehicle so we can pull up your file?
Do you take it in the ass from camels?
Why did you see what you wanted to say?
I don't know.
Dude, that was so fucking bad. You gotta give it... Dude, what the... Fucking... You're way too... No, fuck that. There we go. You're way too fucking high right now.
Nah, we're good.
Alright, so...
If that was like a real warranty thing.
Oh, dude, that would be great. No, I got one yesterday, and I just fucking yelled at the lady for 2 minutes fucking straight. Ah! And she was like still trying to fucking pitch me.
Hello, I am Samantha.
I am Darcy. I am from Somers Point, New Jersey.
My name is Susan.
They fucking suck with those. Like I usually so when I get the extended warranty ones, I was actually in I think I was in Louisiana. Yeah, I was working on Jay and Silent Bob. I got one of those warranty ones. And I put it through the operator. Well, like my boss was right there. I was like, wait a minute. Like he's like, all right, what are you doing? So I answer, and the guy like picks up the phone. And he's like, yo, what's the make and model of your car? I was like, it's a 1936 Volkswagen. It's the same car Hitler drove. And he's like,
God.
That's not even accurate. And like fucking hung up on me. It was like my boss
Hitler drove a 42.
Yeah, like, they were like, the guy was just like so over it. Like he probably gets like 17 of those a fucking hour.
I normally get mad and tell them to go fuck themselves and call them racial things, but
I mean,
I'm baked. I was just like, oh, do you take it up the butt from camels? Like, I really thought that was gonna crush.
Just fucking kill yourself.
I'm going
You take
to.
it out. You take it up the butt from camel, dude. You gotta go
They
home.
sell camel burgers at Tony Beef.
You gotta go.
Not kidding.
You gotta go back to your house, and that pool filter thing that fell off the side of your house.
Shove
Just stick
that
your
up my
ass. Just stick your ass on that. Let the water gush.
Just 900 gallons and directly into my asshole.
Dude, that would be
You'd definitely die.
That would probably be the worst ISIS video you've ever seen. Is just like I'm fucking hooking someone's asshole up to a fucking pool pump.
Chlorinated water, just melting your organs.
That would, yeah, it will. Not only that, but like your body would fucking like flood. Like you can kill yourself by drinking too much water, from what I understand.
The one day I'm like not working, it's just been like constant orders.
What, isn't anything good?
No.
You want to go do one for the pod? We'll
No, rolling pod.
Yeah,
terrible.
No, we'll put.
Hey, I'm here for Steven's Wawa. Okay, here you go.
We could
Fucking
put battery.
Go leave it on the porch.
We could
good
put
content.
batteries on the thing, and then bring the GoPro with us, and we could go deliver some food.
We could do
live.
Instacart. You could just walk through ShopRite with me with a fucking be like Opie Radio.
Yeah, I was gonna say no. We could be like the walkover.
AJ could be a guest in the produce section.
God damn, dude, can we
That
finally?
would be so funny. Just go to his job,
bro.
Yo,
what?
you want to be on the pod and set up fucking
Just
camping chairs in the banana aisle?
No, just go to like where they sell the patio furniture. just have it there. Like they have those little propane
Set up
fire
outdoor
pits.
flowers, fucking
Just start
tiki torches.
Just grab a fucking bag of Cheetos and some fucking Chips Ahoy and fucking go to town.
Get arrested.
The fucking podcast. If anybody's gonna shit on anybody in Burt fucking Kreischer's camp, it should be fucking Nadiv, because like
Nadav,
that guy.
It's not Nadiv.
Whatever. I thought
That's not even Bert's camp. That's Tom's camp.
he fucking sucks.
Bert and him had gotten a spat in the beginning.
It's
Tom. It's one of Tom's people from
Bert-
your mom's house.
Burt like stuck up for him though, because he was like
they're buddies now.
Because like they're like he's like, yo, everybody talks shit on Nadav, and he's a real hardworking employee. He's like, he kills all the momentum of Two Bears One Cave and is literally unlistenable if Nadav is like fucking interjecting and shit. And
I don't mind him.
He's just dumb. I hate him.
He's a big time DGen, so I kind of fuck with him.
What do you mean? He plays?
He's a gambler.
Oh, he's a gambler?
Poker and like all kinds of casino games.
mean,
He lost
just-
like 30 grand or something.
It's just
They talk about it in the air, and then like Christina and Tom were just shitting on him.
Well, that's good. At least they
Yeah.
shit on him. Like
It was funny. Like he like missed work for like 2 weeks at one point because he was just like holed up in some poker hall in fucking LA.
Oh yeah, they're like a completely different breed out there. There's this one poker channel that I watched. It's Hustler Casino Live. Like, so, you know, like the Hustler like magazine and what, it's like one of the like the Playboy Casino, kind of similar shit to that. So like there's this one live stream that they do. It's like this high stakes, like usually it's like between like a $50,000 and like a $200,000 buy-in. And like, there's this one dude named Garrett Adelstein who's always just like on this live stream, and he's always got like 4 times whatever the fucking starting stack is because he's just such a fucking lethal fucking card player. And they bring in like, remember that Mikki guy I was talking about a couple episodes ago? That dude with all the
Mikki Donovan.
Is that his name?
No.
Oh, it's
a character from a TV show.
Oh, okay. The Mikki, I forget his fucking last name. He's the guy with all the face tattoos and like the knuckle tattoos and shit. And he's like, I own a bunch of.
Was
like,
he on No Jumper? Or
yeah, he was
like
on
that?
No Jumper, and he explained like how he's got like a sex addiction and shit. But like he goes on that live. Yeah, he was saying that like. I don't know how much of it's bullshit, but there is that guy that I was watching. I forget his fucking name, but he's like a YouTuber that calls out people that are like bullshit scam artists, like people that like go on Instagram and just like shock like fucking or hawk whatever the fuck I'm trying to say here. They're fucking
just
bullshit
influencers or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, they're like so like there's like some where it's like I have a system for gambling or whatever, and it's like they just instead of them explaining what the system is, they just show the results.
I fell for one of those.
And like
I spent like $3,500 on one of those. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like it like
it didn't work. I lost more than half of my bankroll like the first night.
Like, they're just like a martingale, just double down, like double down and carve it back, and it's like no, you're just
he's advising betting like 25% of your bankroll on one game on like a heavy favorite, and then they lose, and you're like.
Yeah, like
who's betting this much?
This is fucking stupid. And it's like, well, you got to diversify your bets. You need like that bet might not be covered, but even though it's like
they post like fake figures of like their like not their income, but their like wins losses, and they're like, yeah, due to my system, I'm up like 84 units this month. It's like, no, you're not.
No, you're
dude.
not. You're fucking down on.
You're just hawking a fucking $3,500.
Like you're just redistributing my money to this casino in a different way.
You're probably not even really playing that much. You're probably just making some bogus. Like, how hard is it to pick all favorites? Like,
no, it's not really that hard. I'm doing it, but yeah, like that Mikki dude did an interview with the same guy. I'm gonna just have to look his name up and fucking post his link or something like that in the
Mikki or the other guy.
The Mikki guy was on. I'm gonna have to
No Jumper. Or the other guy's podcast.
I gotta look up what the guy's name is. Mikki.
Mouse.
No, not Bo Jumper. No Jumper. Mikki. Mikki. That's how you spell it. Mikki. I'm gonna see if this, because like it should be up on like one of my. Yeah, Spencer Cornelia is the guy's name. I'm gonna put a link. I'm gonna pull this up to the front of my fucking YouTube. But yeah.
Oh, you are not Mikki.
You want
Like,
Mikki?
so this guy like calls out like all these fake influencer guys and shit, and like he goes and interviews them because he did a video before where he like went through Mikki's fucking videos and shit, and like we're not gonna watch this here. I'll just like fucking put a link in the description of this or whatever. But he goes to Mikki's apartment, and Mikki like shows him how. Not only like he wasn't lying about like having a chain of pharmacies, what he was doing was purchasing the rights to lease pharmacies to a like conglomerate or like some kind of like medical holdings company. Like, so he was just like middlemaning these pharmacies, and like in middlemaning these, it was just like you use the first one to pay for the second one, and then you own the second one outright, and then if you flip that second one, you have money for the third and the fourth, and then it just exponentially grows until you have like 700 of these things, because it's like by like the fifth or sixth flip, you're making like, you know, like 200K like off of the entire deal. But all you're doing is basically middlemaning these like holdings for pharmacies, and like it's just like some step of the process for like a Dwayne Reed to like be like able to open a retail shop in like Manhattan or something like that. They need to have like someone that's gonna like be able to like, I wouldn't even call it a mortgage broker or like anything like that. It's just somewhere in the transaction of it, like specifically pharmacies, they need like something between like the people that make the brick and mortar transaction and like the pharmaceutical company doing it outright. It's probably some shady shit, but like still he does it like completely above the belt, and he makes money off of it. It's taxed. So he proves to that guy that he does that. Then he's like, all right, so you have these like guru schemes or whatever you promote on YouTube. What do you do? And he's like, I don't promote them. What I do is I show people that I have a system that isn't like a super system. It's not something you would read in a book. I just know exactly what like volatility in certain games is. And he's like, okay, so you're not saying that you're like some kind of professional gambler. He's like, no, and I'm actually banned from a lot of the casinos in Vegas, and I'll show you why. And he like showed him a video where he's playing Pai Gow, and like some kid staked him like 100K, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna flip this in like 15 minutes. and then goes down, finds the stakes he wants.
Loses, does a flip.
No, actually, fucking, he just sits down and then, like, catches, like, a hot streak of cards and just knows, like, that with a consistent bet on, like, this one thing in Pai Gow, there's, like, a 50-50 chance that you're going to hit on it. So it's kind of like playing black and red and roulette, but there's, like, less of a rake or whatever.
There's no green.
Yeah, there's not, like,
no zero and double zero.
There's like, no way of him, like, losing unless he loses outright. There's, like, there's no, like, a non-probable outcome would be, like, a 0 or double zero. Or like or craps or whatever.
Like almost as true 50-50 as you can get.
It's like so he's got like as minimal hedge as you can get, like aside from like blackjack, I think. So he was just able to like ride volatility on that. I think it's just more like him having the balls to like sit down like at a 100K stake table, and he doubles the kid's money. And he's like, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that I have some system. I've never hocked the system or whatever. I just
don't think that's a foolproof way to like make a living. It's like you're depending on a hot streak. And how many times have you gone up to the roulette wheel and hit red 15 times in a row and you're betting black? Like it's just it happens.
It's like that's also true, but he's like also gotten like it's not like a system. Like I said, he's just pretty much playing ball. It's gambling. Yeah, he's exactly. He's gambling, and he's like he kind of like copped to it. But he's like, yeah, the system I use, like with the game I play, it's not like I'm going there putting money in slot machines. I'm not doing this for YouTube publicity. I literally like I have friends, and the friends were like, hey, you're really good at that. Can we film me doing that once? And then it kind of snowballed from there. And he's like, I'm not responsible for people asking me and like offering me like hundreds of thousands of dollars in stakes to like go and play for them on their behalf, and then like and they are fully assuming the liability of the loss too. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes way more sense. It's not like they're just like,
so if someone stakes him like 100K and he doubles it, how much does he get to keep? And how does the stake? Like, wonder what those percentages are looking like.
I'm fairly certain that like he's banned in like a lot of casinos now, so he doesn't do it anymore. But like, I don't even think on most of them he takes like much more than like what the like initial investment on his end would be, because he plays with them too. Like he plays like he puts his own money up, like or I don't know if he matches it, but
even with like how DePaulo sometimes says people stake him in those big tournaments. The one he won, how much does the person who staked him, like I guess it's a pre-arranged agreement or whatever.
You can look that up. Actually, there's a staking website that's pretty popular. And like I could go on there today. All I'd have to do is get verified by them that I'm basically a real person. But people will stake you, and like it's just crazy people that like know that like the more you spread, like it's making like small investment for a big payoff. Like is if you like put like buy 5, like especially with World Series of Poker going on right now, if you buy like 5% of like a swap on someone on like a $500, that's what, so fucking $5, right? Or $10, $20, something like that.
Something small.
It's like a small.
I'm not a math.
I'm not.
Like $20. I don't fucking know.
So
10.
like whatever it may be, they're giving you like $25 towards your buy-in on the first bullet, second bullet, third bullet. You can do as many as you want, and if they like cash, then you're owed 5% of their winnings, which like if they go deep could be like potentially a couple grand on a $25,000 or $25 stake or whatever. So like there's like websites that facilitate this.
All you need to do is get above board. Like you're all above the board,
and they take a tax on that too, from what I understand. Like they'll take a % out of your winnings just as like the house cut, because they facilitated it. And like I think your winnings, or at least some part of your winnings, have to be put into escrow. I'm not entirely sure how it works though, because I've never staked anybody that's not like you're the only person that's ever staked me. So like it is what it is. But yeah, this Mikki guy.
Just wanted to get out of the house that night.
Yeah.
You like didn't even want to go, and didn't you like double it or something?
I did. I doubled it.
I was on the Ocean City Boardwalk the other night picking up an order at 9th and Boardwalk, and there was like a bunch of hooligans up there, and there was people like pushing a stroller, smoking like a fucking backwood, like right on 9th Street, like, and trying to do that thing where like you fucking cover it up and just like.
Oh, you look way more conspicuous.
And they're like pushing like 3-year-olds in strollers, and I'm like, who let these people up here? Like,
this town's going to shit.
That's how I felt, dude. I'm like, didn't you start looking like the Wildwood Boardwalk all of a sudden?
Didn't you say you like stopped taking fucking orders from that Wawa too, because it's just a fucking nightmare?
Yeah, I literally like that's on my blacklist. Just because in the summertime, no matter what time of day, it's so fucking crowded. 34th Street's not too bad late at night, but 12th Street's a fucking. Dude. It's like right in the downtown part. So
you said you did a DoorDash from the neighbor or to the neighbors or whatever the other day, but like I'm dead ass serious. Fucking Stone Harbor and Avalon are both getting fucking bad like that. It's because they overdeveloped everything. And I was on the podcast a couple of fucking episodes ago saying how it's like the infrastructure is not meant for this many fucking people.
Avalon houses are crazy, dude.
We were looking.
I deliver there all the time. They don't tip well. It's like,
no, they're fucking.
I'm driving like 15 miles from Marmora shop right into fucking Avalon for like a $5 tip. But
Ian kind of hit the nail right right on the head because he like pointed out to me. It's like, what are fucking rich people? Like, how do you become a rich person? It's like you screw everybody else over.
It's not like always true though.
No, it is absolutely fucking true. Like,
I'm saying there's really rich people that have like hooked me the fuck up. And,
I mean, like most.
Yeah.
Okay, no. There's rich people, and then there's people in Avalon that think they're fucking rich, and the way that like they're not even new
they're
money.
Hardly maintaining that monthly
they're
nut.
barely fucking they're barely getting by, but they're still affluent because it's like their paychecks are like several, probably like 5 figures a fucking month or whatever.
Yeah,
6 figures a month, whatever it is. But like they're also like they bought a $2.4 million fucking thing, and then their rent they have to kick back to fucking Ferguson Deckert because they got to fucking rent half their house out or 2/3.
I know you were going to saying like they got rich because they just
fuck, they're stingy as fuck, and like we fucking see that. Like even the biggest ticket we ever usually get is this I'll just leave it at this. They're a school bus company. It's the heirs to a school bus fortune.
I got you.
Because there's like a couple families in Avalon, like the Utz families there, and Tim Kerr's Power Play Realty, like all the Flyers like have houses and shit there. So
I was
like
saying like the houses are crazy because they're building new ones, and it's like Ocean City level houses on steroids. And like I used to work on nice houses in Ocean City, like the year and a half I did construction, but like they just look like way more custom and like decked out in Avalon. Like they're definitely spending more money. I don't know if the land's cheaper or like if they just have more money to spend or
what they're doing is they're literally making them as like visually appealing as and like they're
just
not
to sell it for a higher ticket.
Sell it for a higher ticket, but they're able to rent those out. Like how much do you think a fucking week at one of those like
$20,000,
dude? Like
the one on the beach, the first one I worked on, it was pretty slammed out, but on the beach it was like $20,000 or $22,000 a week.
It's like it was like last year I think
it was
like
booked for 3 years,
dude. Yeah, like so
they spent like 5 or 8 million or something on the fucking house, but then within like less than 10 years on the however many weeks you get a summer, 12 14 weeks or whatever the fuck, you're getting that 22,000. It would have been paid off in less than 10 years.
Yeah, so what the fucking hustle used to be was you would fucking pay Ferguson Deckert. They take like 10%, 15%, whatever it is. And then you get like, you buy one house, knock it down, or convert it into a duplex so that you can fucking make a little fucking side hustle off of it. And Ferguson Deckert doesn't like rape you on the fucking fee, but they make sure that that's filled every fucking week. And if there's not, there's like some like way that they like kick you back. Yeah, like it's like done in a way.
Not as much as your rental would have been, but they fucking.
So what they're encouraging people to do is like now like not only make the duplexes, they're like no, go triplexes and think like big because they make more commission off of it. That's an extra fucking percentage they're getting kicked back per fucking week because now it's not just like one side hustle, it's like 2 out of the same fucking property. So like they could have just as many parcels of land for sale, like for whatever reason, like people that own, but then they have like 3 times the amount of renters now, so they're like just fucking like like well and like make them nice too so that we that's like a 3-story and you want the top story and it's a block from the beach, it's not 10, that's gonna be 15 this year. And like there was like one on our block that used to go for like I think $4,200 a week, and it's like a nice place, like it's 3 stories, it's like pretty cool, it's got like like real open floor plan, you could see it from the street, and it was like $4,200 I think for a week. And like this year Nick's like there's not anything on our block for less than 10, and like if you go 1 block closer to the beach it goes up $5,000 every fucking house you get closer to the fucking beach until you get to the beach.
There's some like kind of tax or fee if from anywhere in your house, even like the rooftop deck, you can see the water. It adds like 12 or 20,000 onto the price of the house. I don't think it's a tax. I think it's some kind of like
just like they
luxury fucking like it's a selling point.
They probably fucking like all the
like
realtors.
Literally, they would put decks up like on the 3rd floor and be like, you could see the ocean. That's an extra fucking 12 G's in my pocket. How we doing? Like,
you know what's funny too is like thinking about it. I have all the fucking houses I worked on that I could see the fucking ocean from, and then it's just like Randy's butt crack. It's like, like just like
bunch of Mexis eating Chinese food on the porch.
Making a churro in the ladies' porch.
Oh, dude,
they're coming over tomorrow too.
On like a hot and steamy fucking filled porta potty that hasn't been changed out in like a week in the summertime.
Bro, you don't even
the Mexis have etiquette too. They like they don't flush obviously, but they like cover their fucking duty with toilet paper. Like I'm just dropping bombs and just leaving the mess in there. I'm not fucking.
They probably don't even mind that fucking smell half the fucking time too.
I don't. It gets you fucking. It's like
it does not get you going.
It's like huff and jankum, dude. It's like
not huff and jankum.
Smelling salts.
It's disgusting. Whatever that sanitizer.
I still use porta potties all the time because when I'm working, especially in Ocean City, like. You can go in like the McDonald's bathroom, but that's like it. Or you can go like the boardwalk or something.
You gotta park too.
Yeah,
like,
so it's like
fucking hardest
I'll
thing.
just like find a job site and go in, and I'm like, oh, it smells like home.
I fucking missed down in Louisiana. It was real hard to find an open porta potty because you'd be like walking around Bourbon Street.
Fucking lock them sometimes, dude.
Everywhere down there, it's because there's so many junkies.
Yeah.
That, they like have to fucking lock them because they find people dead in them all the time. And like, it's like
It's not funny.
it is pretty. It is kind of funny because like imagine the guy that goes like the Caprioni guy comes to fucking like hose her down
He just sucks the dead guy
and
into
they're
his
just
tank.
like not paying attention. And it's like, oh, my hose is clogged. And there's just like a leg or fucking arm hanging out of it. Like, that's a powerful vacuum.
Just fucking stuffs him in the tank. Keeps going with his workday.
You like they
Dissolve the body in that blue mixture.
I
Ever
hated
get Smurf ass?
Yeah, dude, where you fucking plop and you get like a little fucking Poseidon kiss
Oh.
and it gives you like a little line across the butt
The
cheeks.
blue juice doesn't really bother me.
It's the smell.
It's all the other fluids that are in that blue juice.
That too.
If it was just a fresh blue juice on my ass, I'd be like, that's fine.
Did you ever see the fucking guy that he put on a scuba tank and sat in the porta potty, the women's porta potty at Coachella for like 2 fucking days wearing a scuba tank? And like he just like they found him and like he got arrested and shit, but he looked like the happiest fucking guy on the face
So
of the earth.
fucking gross,
Dude,
dude.
it really is. He probably looked like the Blue Man Group too, like just a fudgy Blue Man guy. He's playing the fucking butt cheeks.
Just drunk chicks fucking taking big diaries on your...
God, I shouldn't
hate-
eat sushi. I can't listen to Chapo's Trap House because it's too just like it's just come down.
I've heard of it, but I don't think I've like
It's
gave
a-
it a good listen.
It's like a political podcast. And it's like extremely
Yeah.
left leaning and like they're funny. Like don't get me wrong, they're funny, but it's like they're like not as creative as Come Town, but it's like kind of the same humor because they're the same crop of like friends that.
It's so weird that you just mentioned El Chapo because I just remembered a dream I had last night.
Oh, tell me about your dream. I had a crazy one last night. And you were in it.
It was like this morning when I went back to sleep after like the 7 a.m. piss, but I was like in... El Chapo's still alive, so I don't know why I was trying to like visit El Chapo's grave, but I was like in El Chapo's family house and they had like all the graves in the house. Like
Wait.
a fucking...
Like the headstones or whatever? Or
like
some kind of-
memorials
yeah,
or
like-
something.
Like
And,
kind of like a mausoleum
yeah,
or whatever.
I don't know why I was in their house, so I was fucking dreaming, but
Yeah.
I'm like looking for El Chapo's memorial for some reason. Like his family was there and like I couldn't find it. And I don't even know why the fuck I was there. Like I must have just been watching too much fucking Netflix, like Narcos or something.
Nodding off the Narcos, babe. Did
Yeah, I
you start
don't-
watching 000 yet?
No, we're finishing Money Heist. We got like 3 episodes left. It's so cheesy, but it's fucking good. I don't know.
That's
I'm not even like recommending it, but like I don't know. It's pretty good.
Where is it?
I literally laughed out loud at the one part last night though on Money Heist. They like threw a grenade into the room they were hunkering down in, and the girl like dives and catches it in midair and like spins in the air and like throws it back out the hole like in one foul swoop. And like I thought she was just gonna like dive on the grenade and she's gonna like sacrifice herself,
Yeah.
but like literally like fucking Matrix level like grabbed the grenade and threw it while falling. Like I was so fucking like action movie cheesy fucking bullshit. But
Oh, that sounds horrible.
it was that like shit like that, but like it's I don't know. It sucks 1,000 dicks, but I can't. It's like that train wreck you can't watch, like look away from.
Yeah, like it
does have redeeming parts. Like it's usually a lot of conjecture, or whatever the fuck you call it, like just the pointless flashbacks,
exposition and
Yeah.
shit. Like
It's a lot of that bullshit. But then like the season's finished strong, people die. You're like, oh cool. Like
I'm telling you, dude, like drop what you're doing and watch 000. I was listening to War Mode, and War Mode recommended it because they were talking about how okay, so what is going on right now is very like a retelling of the Iran-Contra scandal, where that was when George H.W. Bush, he was no longer, I think, the director of the CIA, but he still was very heavily influencing as the vice president, because he was vice president for Reagan. He was very heavily influencing what the CIA was doing, and that was how... Because you know the story of Freeway Ricky Ross and how Freeway Ricky Ross was buying cocaine from Nicaragua, but like the CIA was...
Noriega or whatever.
Yeah, Noriega was like working with the CIA to facilitate it in exchange for guns and shit. So all of this somehow ends up in like Iran somehow, and I know
Contras or
yeah,
some
like
shit.
it's like some way, but it was like it was like they were trying to suppress communism in South America, and that was like their mild justification to do so, and then in doing so they ended up selling a bunch of guns for cocaine, and that cocaine ended up on the streets of LA in the hands of that guy Freeway Ricky Ross. But like a little bit of context to like what is going on like currently with Biden's administration, where he pulls us all out of Afghanistan, and now we're in like a fucking gas crisis, and it's like, well, you destabilize an entire region of the world that we warred with. We fueled a war with the like like Afghanistan, we backed the Mujahideen to fight the fucking USSR in Soviet times. So like, there's some fucking ramifications.
Well, didn't we leave tons of shit behind there too?
We
and now
did.
They just like basically inadvertently armed them.
Yeah, we did. We gave them a bunch of leftover military stuff that, I mean, we just do that anyway. Whenever we leave a country, we usually just leave the fucking guns and like all the military shit. You gotta tighten that more. Dude, you want to trade?
I fucking tightened it, bud.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like, so this show 000, they were like Spud was mentioning on War Mode. He's like, yeah, 000 gives you a little bit of context to like what that like whole aspect of it is, because you only kind of see like in like Narcos, you only kind of see like the Pablo shit, and you kind of only see like the FBI shit, and then like you kind of see like the police shit. Like, it's never really too much of like yeah. It's never really like too much of like what the bigger picture is and like where these things end up. It's just kind of like the story of Pablo, and then like I guess like the third season, and then like Narcos Mexico and everything. It's like an elaboration on that story, but like still retelling like what actually happened and who all these characters were. But like it's still very much like focused on kind of like how neat the story is, or like how like interesting like the cartels slowly being like the Narcos slowly being like ousted by the cartels, and like that kind of dichotomy being like the old guard being the Narcos and like Pablo and all that shit, and then all the new guard being like the cartels, and like at one point them just being outright like, yeah, like the Medellin cartel is like no mas, and whatever the fucking
That whole season about Cali, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
the Cali cartel takes over, and they have to keep paying the one dude's family restitution, and he just tells them it's like, well, now this is Cali's territory, and like they agree to give the lady like a one-off or whatever, but like they still kill her,
murder everyone.
Yeah, they still murder like the entirety of her family. But so 000 takes place in Mexico. It takes place in New Orleans. Well, there's characters from New Orleans, but and then it takes place in Italy. So the Colombian cartels are the Narcos, and they're fucking with the Mexicans, and the Mexicans are like sick of how like all the drugs are funneling through Mexico, and are like Mexicans are basically being used as trafficking, but they're not like really they're not in control. They're just being used as like, even though they're in their own country and they're doing work for their own people, they're being used by like this ulterior like bigger brother kind of thing. So they lack organization. So that whole plot line is like them trying to continue to traffic drugs, but like slowly amassing enough of a force to kind of run the Narcos out of town while still controlling the drug trade. So then there's this other thing in Italy going on where there's like an old mob boss who's like losing his control of like power, but like his influence is what kind of fuels that cocaine from Mexico to come to Europe, and then the people from New Orleans are like the middlemen. They're fixers, and it's like this guy, and in the first episode the guy gets shot. Well, like the cartel and the Mexican cartel and the Narcos are in a shootout, and it's like, I'm not really like spoiling anything either, but it like creates this like chain reaction of like what happens in the bigger picture when like shit goes wrong.
Yeah,
and it's like so fucking like not like Narcos. Like, Narcos is good, and I really like Narcos.
It's a different spin,
but it's
on
like
it.
a completely like it's way more realistic, and like they get everything down to like how when the CIA trained all, because it's like very heavily implied that like the CIA trains the Mexican cartels to do like all of like the paramilitary style like intimidation of like trying to get the Narcos out. So it's like they train them to do one thing, but now we're using that like military knowledge to like train our own people to do our bidding now. So like they teach you like, you're not gonna go and like kill one person, because that's just gonna be a murder. Like, you're gonna go and hijack an entire bus and kill everybody on that bus, and then like make a video about like how these people are the ones that are going to be, you know, executed, so that like order is restored, and we're going to do this more and more. And then like there's an episode where they're showing how they like have to throw a body off an overpass like with the message and shit, and it's like,
dark,
it's
man.
Dude, but it's like really fucking good. And
No,
it's
no,
like,
I'm not saying the show. I just mean like cartel shit in general. They're just like,
cartel shit is so fucking complex, man. If you really want to crack into that shit like that, I highly recommend going on Narco Blog, and you got to use like a browser like Chrome, or it'll automatically translate it for you. But Narco Blog is very fucking interesting. It's like all the fucking cartel shootouts and shit like that. And it's like, if you're interested in gore porn, it's like, it's very good for gore porn.
I don't love it. I hate gore porn,
but it's very interesting because they show you like how like the Sinaloa over here are not, they're no longer taking it from the federally backed state police, but then the state police are still answering to fucking Chapo's people, or whatever their fucking cartel is.
I thought they were Sinaloa.
Or they might be Sinaloa.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. There's like so fucking many of them. The other one I know.
There's the one that's dark. They're like the fucking
Knights Templar,
Death Angels or whatever the fuck.
There's
like,
a couple that are like fucking straight up satanic. Yeah, the Knights Templar one's the one that they were responsible for kidnapping a bunch of kids and like doing like the satanic masses with them, and like they weren't originally just kidnapping them for like, you know, ransom and intimidation and shit like that, and then like they started like getting on these like wild like fucking meth fueled drug binges and shit, and thinking that God was telling them to like kill children and shit. And they were like, there was like one compound that this guy, there was like a documentary on Hulu about like this guy who's Papa Smurf, the guy in Mexico who was like the cartel tried to like take over his like town, and the police were so corrupt they were like, well, we're not gonna like say no, like we can't do anything about this. So the guy like rallied every person in the town and like was like, get every gun you have and we're gonna like defend our town from the cartel comes in, they kick him out once, and then like the guy gets a little notoriety, but he gets like a target on his back too. So this Papa Smurf guy starts like going to publicists and being like, yeah, you guys need to report on like what we're doing, we're like actually taking a stand because the police aren't gonna help us. And the media kind of ran wild with it, and this guy got like a little too big for his britches and ended up like kind of having like a weird extramarital affair. But like these dudes like were just like ghetto ass dirt farmers that like stood up to the cartel, and the cartel was like fucking taking them out like slowly, but they like figured out how to kind of like band together and like fight them. And then like ultimately the Papa Smurf guy has to like dissociate from the group for one reason or another, and then everything kind of goes to shit. But like the group still operates, but they're like, their town I think is back under like cartel control now. But they did put up
can't compete with that kind of bankroll.
Dude, it's like you're getting bankrolled by the fucking CIA. Like, I mean, like, and like the Mossad and shit. Like, there's no fucking way you're competing with that. But yeah, Narco Blog is really like, if you're interested in the drama and like the dichotomy of all the cartels operating and like who's corrupt and who's not, very interesting, and I highly recommend.
I just meant their general flavor or style. Like, I'm a big mafia nerd, and they're just typical like shootout. They'll just shoot you in the fucking head, two behind the ear, shit like that.
Chop you up.
Like what they did was fucked up too. But the cartel is like, they like do like real message jobs. They hung like 20 people over a fucking overpass on the highway.
No, they do that like weekly.
Yeah.
Like that's they're one of the most brutal ones that I have ever fucking seen. And this happened in Honduras. Was there was a jail like, and it was like a very nice jail. Like it was very like, you know, like high end, high security jail. So there was like a shitload of cameras, and the guard like kind of like acknowledged that he was working with whoever their like a bunch of like prisoners bosses were, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna put this guy in a holding cell, you're gonna come in, you're gonna grab my gun, I'm gonna do nothing, and that's how it's gonna be. And this guy like walks in, and sure enough, like they put him in a holding cell, and there's like 3 other inmates, and then the guard comes in, one of the inmates grabs the gun, the guard kind of just like backs off, and they start fucking lighting this dude up. And while this guy's head is being like shot into the point of there not being like a fucking skull anymore, all these fucking dudes are just teeing off on his body, like kicking him and fucking shanking him and shit. And it's like, there is like,
it's pretty cool.
I mean, it was one of the most brutal ones I've ever fucking seen. But like then there's the fucking the one cartel, they dress in all Zetas. I think Zetas are the ones that dress in all.
I was thinking
they're dressed in all black, and they have like the zodiac symbols and shit.
Yeah.
So the Zetas fucking have this video where they put a bunch of women, I think just random women from some fucking town. They put them in the vats of acid, and while they're still fucking alive and they're bound, and you can see this one chick just kind of like dissolving. And, like, they're all doped up, so they're not really feeling it, because that's what they do. They shoot you up with a bunch of heroin, so you're docile before they kill you, and, like, you're performing good for the camera, so, like, they know what's coming, and, like, they're all... You ever notice they're all, like, green and shit? It's because they just shot them up with a fucking hot fucking fentanyl batch.
Oh, my God.
And, like, they're all fucking, like, messed
dying
up.
Anyway.
Yeah, like, so this chick is just, like, they like, are cutting everyone around her's head off. She just gives up, and they just pick her up and put her in the oil, or the vat of fucking acid dissolved. And you just kind of see your head just kind of like slowly going behind the barrel.
How fast does it dissolve?
It's pretty fucking slow, but like
I thought it took like a day to fully dissolve.
But like I just mean that like she didn't even fight it. She just like kind of was like, I give up, I'm going in.
That's gotta burn.
It's gotta fucking feel horrible. Like no, it doesn't like dissolve you like that. It's not like fucking falling into lava. It's like
slowly melting you.
Just like
eating your flesh.
It's lye. It's like basically turning you into liquid as you're still alive. So like she just was like, oh, this hurts. I give up. Like fine. Like whatever. Yeah, there's Zeta's also, they have one that I've never seen before, even in ISIS videos, where they ripped a dude's chest plate off and then started eating his organs. It's like heart, like one guy comes up with a big Bowie knife and just fucking drives it into the dude like right about here. And then two guys put their hands like this and just rip his chest plate off. And then a bunch of other people run in out of the fucking wings and start like ripping his organs out. And one guy gets in there real tight and just like start biting his heart. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty fucking messed up.
I'm gonna have weird dreams again tonight.
Well, all right, let's write this course, and I'll talk about my dream last night because you'll think it's funny. You were in it. So I texted this to my lady Sonia. I promised I would shout out Olivia and Carla too.
Shout out to the
kids,
the Doring family,
the Dawnings. But yeah, our Dawning fans. She's gonna kill me for that. But yeah, I just woke up from a dream where I took you to see some stunt guy, like Evel Knievel type, who juggled chainsaws on a motorcycle but concealed his identity. Turns out it was just Jake, and then I yelled at him for doing that instead of the podcast. Yeah,
I can't juggle. So.
You were just like in like a fucking like Evel Knievel, like a black leather Evel Knievel get up with like like. Do you know who the Stig is? Do you ever watch Top Gear?
No.
He's the guy that's like, he dresses like a fucking Formula 1 racer with like the helmet and like the fucking leathers and shit like that. You were just dressed kind of like that. And you had he has a mirrored visor on his thing so you can't see who it is. But like, you were just kind of dressed like that. You were standing on the handlebars of your motorcycle, juggling these like little chainsaws. And
that's fucking dope.
It was neat. Like it was really cool. There was like fire going on and shit too. And then I like brought Sonya to go see this. Like it was just like at some fucking parking lot. Like I don't even know where it is, but it reminds me. If I had to say a geographical location just to give you context, you know where next to the Acme, there's that cul-de-sac that they were supposed to develop, but it never. It's just a big cul-de-sac. They had the circus there a couple years ago.
Yeah,
it's like it was something like that. It was just like some cul-de-sac, like with vacant land just or whatever.
Fucking field.
Yeah, you're just like out there fucking riding around, like they're charging admission and shit. Like some guys walking around the fucking box. There's shit on fire, and you're just juggling chainsaws, and then at the end it's like bow. And I was like, that was pretty good. We should go say hi. And then like it's just you, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing the podcast? This is what you've been up to? Like, it's pretty funny.
Just the inner workings of Joe's mind,
dude. I have weird fucking dreams, and like I try to draw them or like write them down sometimes. I thought I got visited by. I thought I got visited. No. I thought I got visited by aliens the other night.
That's fucking wild. I was gonna say it's crazy how quickly you can forget a dream, because I'd completely forgotten about that dream until you said Chapo's Trap House, and I just like had that
like clicked.
That's So Raven flashback, or I guess she has flashes forward. I don't fucking know.
That show sucked.
Yeah,
that's the black chick that knows her dad. What the fuck? So the Proud Family sucked too.
I'm not just trying to like keep checking my phone, but I keep getting orders and shit, so I'm not trying to be a douche.
We're at an hour or two. We could do like another 30 and then be fucking tight. But yeah, I thought I got visited by aliens the other night. I swear, like, I have sleep paralysis.
Anally probed?
Nah, I have sleep paralysis, and when I have sleep paralysis,
that shit's freaky.
I used to think I was like, I had something wrong with me. I used to think I was like getting possessed, and like, I swear to fucking God, sleep paralysis. If you don't have it and you don't know what it fucking is, it's a pretty nice 22.
I don't have it, but I've experienced it probably 10 or less times in my life, like sporadically.
Yeah,
it's never been like a constant thing, but it is fucking scary when it happens. Something's coming at you and you feel like you can't move. Like it's usually like when you're in that in between stage of awake and asleep, and like you're like awake but you're asleep and you feel like you can't fucking move.
Yeah, like I have that like so.
Or the free fall one.
The free fall where you like when you slam, you like wake up all suddenly. Well, I like that. I'll prefer that over sleep paralysis because like I figured out how to remedy it too. If anybody has sleep paralysis, one way that you can get rid of sleep paralysis is you got to hold your breath. Because whatever is going on that's making you wake up while you're dreaming, it just means you're still in REM sleep. And if you hold your breath, because you can usually do that, like, because you can breathe and you can like kind of like wiggle your fingers and toes, but it feels like there's like a big weight on your chest. Like just hold your breath and close your eyes and like kind of force yourself, because it'll wake you up. It'll make your central nervous system like kind of do a reboot on your brain real quick, and you just like jolt awake.
Alt-delete.
Yeah, it does work. I've done it plenty of times. It does work. But yeah, like when you have sleep paralysis, the weirdest one I think I ever had, and I remember this dream, is I had my girlfriend at the time in my bed with me, and it was like just at the early morning dawn, so there was a little light in the room, and I had fallen back asleep, and she was on my left, and I was on the right side of the bed, and then out of nowhere, I got that weight on my chest, and I could kind of wiggle, but I couldn't really do much. It was a particularly paralyzing, bout of it. But I could look down like this, and I could see there was like one of those African plain tribesmen with like the big disc in their lip and like
creepy,
the fucking
dude.
like that. It's a big one of those heads that's eating my lower half. Like it's like my legs and like it's up to my knees, and it's like laughing and taking bites of me. And I'm like, what the fuck? And like I can't wake up and I can't do anything, and I'm like fucking spazzing. And then eventually like it's like laughing so much that I woke up, and my girlfriend's like jostled me awake, and she was like, you were making weird fucking noises, and then just rolled back over and went to sleep. And I was like, thank you for saving me. And she's like, for real, fucking knock it off. I want to go back to sleep. Demon. Like it was so fucking surreal. But yeah, like you gotta hold your breath to get out of that shit, and like it took me forever to find that out, but once I did, it's like I haven't had too much
I've only had like creepy shadowy figures in the corner, or like a demon in the corner. I've never had an African soldier eating my fucking torso.
Yeah, well, we had I had the one like last night. I laid down to sleep, and I think it's just because my mind's like so fucking spent from like working as much as I have been.
Yeah.
Which, sorry about all the fucking upload inconsistency. I have a fucking job, and I would rather do this than that. But
I've even been churning out about 40-50 hours a week, just fucking doing gig work, and then
fucking
got a kid on the way.
Time to make the money.
Busy.
But yeah, like I fucking went and laid down, and fucking the next thing I know, there's like what looks like a light bulb above my head, and like I was clearly in like a dream or like sleep paralysis, but it's like I thought like that light bulb had eyes, and it was like that like kind of like gray alien head shape. It wasn't like one of the kids.
Tall gray.
Yeah, well, it probably was one of the tall grays, if anything, because they're the ones that generally you get when you get abducted by them. The tall grays are the ones that take you and they do experiments. But like that, I watched that fucking communion. You know,
think that's real.
I do, because Whitley Strieber, like before he fucking went off the rails, I think that getting abducted fucked with him too. Like he was the one that said that there's two kinds that abduct you. There's the tall grays, and they look like kind of your standard like long limbs, like real tall, long necks, elongated faces, and like the kind of big black eyes that are like, and they have like a kind of like membrane skin that, and like apparently the smell is something like burning, like an electrical fire or something like that, like a burning battery.
Just him having a stroke.
But Whitley, yeah, probably. Whitley Strieber said that there was the kids, and the kids are like the one that kind of weirded me out. So if I ever see them, that's when I'm really gonna start fucking panicking. But like the kids are like,
just start taking Ambien before bed.
These like little fucking like demon looking things,
like the little orcs from Halo or whatever.
Yeah, like kind of, but like they're like more sinister. And the Kyle Odom guy, that dude, fucking we're already well into the conspiracy podcast.
Let's do it, baby.
Yeah, okay. So Kyle Odom was that guy. He shot a fucking priest like 10 times or something like that. He mag dumped on a fucking priest because he claimed he got abducted by aliens, and the aliens were visiting him in his sleep, and that they were like skinwalkers, like they were like assuming like they looked like people. Like he was having like a full blown like They Live moment where like he thought like these aliens were gang stalking him and shit. So he like cornered what he thought was one of them, and it turned out that like it was like a priest or whatever, but he shot the dude in the fucking head and then mag dumped on him. He shot him several times. So Kyle Odom gets like prison, like for life, like throw away the fucking key prison. And then this guy,
is this mental illness or is this,
well, here's the weird thing. The fucking dude that he shot lived and is now a fucking state senator that is trying to propose bans on gun control. But he got,
well, yeah, that guy,
he has
the right to want to ban guns.
Understand? That's not what we're focusing on here. But like, yeah, I kind of understand his stance on that.
He can run with that.
But like the fucking, he survived a 40 to the fucking face at point blank range, and Kyle Odom was a military man. Like he was someone that was
center mass, all 10 shots.
Very capable. No, he got center mass too, and he fucking wanted to finish the job, so he shot him in the fucking face. And like Kyle Odom is like proficient with like military firearms and like a pistol, and it was like a service pistol. So like he knew what he was fucking doing, and he knew that this would kill the guy. But like it was like he's claiming that this guy was gang stalking him and like that he was an alien. And sure enough, it's like, you know, aliens, reptilians are in the government or whatever. And I don't really.
Sure enough, it was proved in the court he was an alien. They freed Kyle Odom.
I really do not fucking believe that like reptilians.
Like Hillary's a fucking reptilian.
I don't believe that shit, but I do know that
Look at their eyes, man, in the videos, dude.
Well, that's just
stupid YouTube videos where you see their eyes like twitch.
Well,
it's like, oh shit.
That's actually like a fucking malfunction in keyframing. So when you have broadcast, it comes in through it's broadcast in a certain quality, but like to receive it, it usually degrades the quality. So you know how like sometimes your TV is like in crystal clear HD, and then for like a minute or two it'll go to like 720p because it's like it's buffering basically. So when you have that, there's like, to keep the broadcast looking smooth, like moving that is, and it doesn't look like all like choppy, they will omit a couple of pixels from every frame because it lessens the amount.
Faster.
Yeah, it makes it load faster because it's like lessening the data. So like when you see,
it happens that those pixels lined up with their eyes.
It matches on certain colors. So your eyes are like a real specific color. So the thing automatically knows like not to fucking move those pixels. But sometimes it gets caught in between them, and that's why it looks like there's the one with Justin Bieber that's the real popular one.
Yeah.
Whereas like he closes his eyes or he blinks and it's like his eyes are still open. It's a fucking pixel malfunction. So like all that, like I believe that there's like aliens like in the fucking government or whatever. I really don't fucking believe that shit. But I do know that there's a demographic. Like there's a real good segment by this guy that claimed in Weird New Jersey that he got abducted by aliens so they could have sex with him, and they stole his fucking sperm a whole bunch, and like then there's aliens that were outright fucking him. And like
you just debunked it, but I think that like celebrities and politicians are lizards is much more believable than
what I just explained.
Technical error. Yeah, dude, they're definitely fucking lizards.
I mean, it is what it is. Whatever. I mean, they're definitely weird. Like they know shit that they're not supposed to. Ghislaine Maxwell got fucking 20 years. How long do you think?
Fucking years.
I'm taking the under on like less than 6 months before she gets suicided.
She's already been sentenced. So like, why would?
No, suicided, like in prison.
I know, but I'm saying like, why? I mean, I guess
because she could write a tell-all book while she's in prison. That's why Jeffrey Epstein suicided, because they knew that he could fucking like make a little, like he could out people while he was in prison and get a plea bargain where he'd actually walk. But that would implicate a lot more people that don't need to be implicated. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton being two of them.
Maybe she'll just keep her mouth shut and do 10 years.
She's got Mossad. I think I told you about this, how her dad was Mossad, and when you are Mossad, you're like in it for life. Your whole family's in it, and like she inherits those contacts, which is why she cozied up to Epstein, because like Epstein's a guy that was like, he's like Richard Branson. He's just like some entrepreneur dude that like basically worked in the financial sector and then walked away.
Teenagers.
Well, that too, but he like walked away from it because he like knew there was more lucrative shit in like basically facilitating shit like this. Like he would make more money fixing problems for like politicians and shit, and part of that is like blackmailing people because he had access to like all those like places in Miami and whatnot. Like it was just very like apparent that Ghislaine Maxwell and him would like cozy up to one another because he's got the access to like all these like, you know, rich and powerful people from knowing, you know, the financial sector and like, you know, doing what he does, and she's a Mossad, the daughter of a Mossad agent, that she has all the contacts that her dad had, and is like, oh shit, like, so you need dirt on this guy? Hey Jeffrey, could you fucking fly him down to Lolita Island or whatever, and fucking, you know, get him doing something very damning? Okay, now he's playing ball. Like that's basically how it works, and it's like this isn't just isolated to those two either. Like there's a lot of fucking shit going on all over the fucking world where that happens, but this is just one that they're using to like hang out. It's like, all right, we're appeasing the masses. Like, here you go, your pedophile's going to jail for 20 years. So the Clinton body count, the only one that's like real popular right now, and they're catching a lot of heat for people calling it like a part of it, is the Seth Rich guy. He was like the reporter that got knocked off. But yeah, like apparently like there's a lot of people that like have mysteriously gotten suicided by 2 gunshots to the back of their head, and it's still ruled a suicide. And they're like people that were former Clinton like White House aides and shit like that. And like everybody's like freaking out because they're like, oh, you must be like one of those January 6th protesters or whatever. Like you think that those guys were good. It's like, no, I think that like there's a lot of corruption in the government. I actually got to know
the amount of money at stake.
Yeah, like and it's like not just like our government. Like they're meddling in other countries' governments. Like look at South America, look at the Middle East. Like they're fucking all of them have investments in those countries, which is why they either get invaded or like they're completely destabilized, and like it's all borderline unlivable for the citizens there. Because it's like we talked about Yemen on like a podcast a couple months ago, I guess at this point. But like Yemen's like that exact thing where it's like it's a nutrient rich country, but because of that, they like all these other governments go there to have proxy wars, and it makes it like completely unlivable for the people that are like native to that area. And it's like, well, just because you wanted to make a couple $100 million, like you just completely killed like 60,000 people, and it's like you have no qualms about that, not even like a whoopsie. Hillary Clinton was literally like their I don't know if it was like the outright Clinton Foundation or if it was like one of their partisan like company like a another thing that like is under the umbrella of that, but like during the Haiti earthquake that like killed all those people, there was like a couple hundred kids that went fucking missing that were like supposed to be in the responsibility and care of like people that worked for the Clinton Foundation. And like the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Foundation was just like, oh, we don't know where they are. It's like clearly they're getting human trafficked. Like, you know, that's like fucking an apparent thing. Like they're just, oh, there was an earthquake, there's a natural disaster. Yeah, here, come here. Well, where'd they go? We don't know. It's like you took responsibility for them. You're supposed to know this shit. You can't just like invite kids over for a fucking sleepover and then they like get fucking raped or whatever. And it's like, I don't know what happened. Like, it makes no fucking sense because there's no like accountability on that end. But like, yeah, like the Clintons are responsible for killing a lot of fucking people, and I think that like Epstein was definitely one of those people, or at least like, you know, is tied into the Clintons because of how many times Bill and Hillary wrote on the Lolita Express. But then I think Maxwell is like the kind of person where she's got so much like clout with the Mossad and like, you know, Israel basically that she, you know, we got to go there. But like she does like
ADL.
Well, just like they will like know that she's an asset, and like she could, you know, name a bunch of names to like get herself either like more luxury in prison or more comfort or like whatever. But it's just kind of like I foresee it being like the path of least resistance, just be like, oh, she killed herself in prison. Like she didn't want to deal with the ramifications of her actions, and like
she didn't want to sit for 20 years.
They did a really good job too of suppressing that trial was even fucking going on. Like, did anybody like? I think the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial was going on at like the same fucking time, so that was like overshadowing it in the fucking news. But it was like a couple weeks long, and like it was a very widely publicized trial that just got like no mainstream media attention, but you could like watch it, and it was like, well, fuck, like, you know, this lady like is responsible for so many fucking people like getting like sent under.
I think they do that shit on purpose, obviously. Like,
totally
complete diversion.
Like it's like they got like other things that they can amp up. Like there was a bunch of school shootings and shit that was going on like right when the trial was like at its peak too, and like
there was some the one hot conspiracy a few weeks ago. There was, I forget, somewhere in the Northeast was the shooting, or the guy was from somewhere in the I forget which school shooting, but one of the security guards.
Oh no, that was the one
invented a fucking water engine, and they're like, oh shit,
that's
the
just
oil cartel fucking knocked him off, dude.
Not accurate. Okay,
you don't think so?
No. So what happened was it was a supermarket, and that was a very weird video too. I have seen it several times. There's all sorts of shit that doesn't really add up about that. A couple people fall down without getting shot. We're not going to get into that.
This was a school one.
This was not. This was the security guard, because they even identified him in the video when he got shot, because the gunman comes out, gets out of his car, raises the AR, shoots a lady, and then the guy that's loading groceries into the trunk falls down before he has the time to point the gun at him. So he's already down. Acted like he got shot. That's weird enough. There's also a lady that she gets dusted in the fucking supermarket where they shoot like from point blank range her head, and it just like nothing happens. It just is like, I've seen enough fucking ISIS videos to know that usually there's like a little bit of blood when that shit happens. Like, you know, I'm not saying that it's going to be like
cinematic.
Yeah, it's not going to be cinematic, but it's like, it doesn't look like a gunshot went off. It looks like there was like a fucking burst of air, or like, you know, like a blank or something like that. Yeah. Like, and her wig went fucking flying. That was it. Like, but anyway, the security guard guy, yes, he did invent a car that runs on water. That is correct. But hydrogen fission, I think. Yeah, hydrogen fission. It's separating water molecules so it's 2 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. It's the same principle as underwater welding, where when you go down there, you separate 1 hydrogen molecule from water molecules, and that creates so the byproduct of that is a hydrogen bubble. So that's why it's very dangerous to do hydrogen welding if you're like under things, because a pool of hydrogen forms above you, and if one single spark travels up in a bubble, it's going to blow that fucking thing up because hydrogen is very flammable. So it's just hydrogen welding. Think hydrogen welding already exists. It's the same principle as hydrogen welding. He just was able to turn that into a turbine engine, and his car didn't have like the ability to go cross country or anything, like, or it wasn't like you can go like for days on one tank of water.
That other guy in the 80s who
the motorcycle guy.
He was like,
the guy in Brazil, I think, or
No, it
Chile.
was some white dude in the States.
Oh,
He had
really?
a car, and he was signing some deal or something.
Oh, the perpetual. No, it was
restaurant.
the perpetual motion device guy.
This guy was a water car.
Oh, he had a water car? Because
It
there's
was-
the fucking perpetual motion device guy, too.
He came out or something, and he was like, they fucking poisoned me. And he like dropped dead on the restaurant steps or something. Like they cyanided him.
Oh, no shit, really?
Yeah, it was in the 80s. It was a water car.
There was a guy in the 90s that made a perpetual motion device. It's like an energy-free, like it doesn't take any energy to generate energy, which is like an anomaly. There's not many things that could like theoretically do that. And this guy like tried to get a patent for it, and like they like kept blocking his patent, so he kept having to like reinvent it until it like basically didn't work. And then they like took it a step further and made him like dismantle it. And there was like people that came out and would do experiments and be like, "Oh, we found a power source like 2 miles away that's like powering this thing." He's like, "No, you didn't." Like, and they like dug like all around the fucking perimeter, like and like 10 feet trenches down in like a big circle. He's like, "Tell me where there's a fucking power source to this." I'm spilling all over the fucking power source over here.
This guy was Stanley Meyer in 1998.
And he got suicided?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a guy in Brazil, too, that made his motorcycle run on water, and he was they found his motorcycle next to a cliff, and they said that he killed himself, but he might have been escorted off the cliff. But yeah, that guy just basically, like, that technology already exists. Like, that guy didn't invent anything. He just made a car that runs on water, and it's like that's fine. It wasn't anything to do with oil. Like, someone explained it very like articulately. I think that's a good explanation. Does that make sense to you? That like it's like hydrogen welding is just separating the hydrogen molecule from the H2O. You're taking one of those H's, creates a catalyst, and then you use that to drive the turbines in an engine, similar to that of gasoline. But no, that shooting was weird. And everything. Uvalde was fucking weird too. That's a different conspiracy theory. I only brought one with me today. We can go back to Uvalde because I can talk a shitload about Matthew McConaughey if you're interested. Matthew McConaughey, because
Save that for next week. Just write that one down.
Yeah, we can. We could put that on the back burner. But okay, so do you know about the Oklahoma City bombing? And this has to do with suicide.
Timothy McVeigh, right?
Timothy McVeigh, yeah, correct. And then do you know what he did? Like, do you know any of the context of it?
Wasn't he like a former military guy? And I forget what his motive was, though. I was little when that happened.
Well, her motive is fucking up the podcast, but
She's fine.
So Timothy McVeigh was a white supremacist, ex-military guy, and he had a problem. He had a beef with the federal government for whatever reason, and he went with a U-Haul truck full of fertilizer. They had converted into a bomb because fertilizer is very explosive. Parked it in front of the Oklahoma City FBI building, I believe, and detonated it, and it killed like a couple hundred people and like 40 kids. And they were like, oh, he parked it in a way where it was like, under a daycare, which like I don't think he had access to the building schematics to like know that. But like even if he did, I don't think that like there's just a daycare in the fucking federal building, so like. It's kind of like those kids are in the way regardless of if this guy's going to blow it up or not. If the building fucking collapses, they're going to be the first to go too. Like, it doesn't really fucking matter what the catalyst or what the I'm hung up on that word now. What the fucking thing is. Like, they're still in the building regardless of any catastrophe. Like, any of that. Well, fucking, there's an earthquake, there's a tornado. Kids are still going to die.
Tornado.
It's fucked up. But here's what happened. So, there is a cop. I'm going to have to read his name again because I keep forgetting it. But there's a cop, and his name is Terence Yiki, and he died on May 8th, 1996. He was a sergeant at the Oklahoma Police Department, OCPD, no relations.
Oklahoma City.
Who was one of the first responders to the site of the Oklahoma City bombing, rescuing at least 4 people. He died a year after his rescue service. He died a year after his rescue service. Yiki was found to have committed suicide. So, let me go back to this. Death. 3 days before he was meant to receive the honors, however, May 8th, 1996, Yiki apparently committed suicide. Yiki was discovered dead in a field near his hometown, El Reno. Yiki's death was ruled suicide. No suicide note was found. A fellow former officer, Jim Ramsey, speculated that he might have been driven to guilt over the bombing rescue for his inability to save more people and his dependency over a troubled family life. He had recently been barred from seeing his 2 young daughters by his ex-wife. Okay, so that's all Wikipedia has to say on the suicide. Now, and I very reluctantly use Reddit, but there was a thing on Reddit about how when he continue. There was okay, so that's the picture of the building, and they were saying that when he was in there, that Yiki, and this is all documented too, but like they had to hire a private security, or not a private security, private law firm to like kind of keep this like not very public, like, you know, keep it out of the media and whatnot. Yiki said that he found undetonated C4 in the building, and when you have an explosion like that, that's what's called a wrap. Like a wrap means that like it's an explosion that comes from the outside, and that all that force forces shit inside to it. And it's like the force of a bomb is like only going to go it's only going to go outward from where the explosion's happening. It's going to push everything in. Now, tell me, Jake, does that look like a bomb that pushed something in, like with that chunk right there and that chunk right there? Or does that look like something where something blew kind of outward?
More outward.
I would say outward myself. Like, and I'm not an explosives expert or anything either.
Thermite paint.
But like, if this guy's claiming that he found C4, and like upon further inspection, that does look kind of like a building that like the bomb went off in it, not in front of it. Like it kind of would make sense that like maybe there was an explosion in there. And I'm not also saying that maybe this guy didn't just put on a like Timothy McVeigh put on a fucking janitor's uniform and like go in there and do this pre-hand. Like I'm not saying that either. That's completely within the realm of possibility. And like he did have like a motive for hating the government. Like I don't know if it was tied into his neo-Nazism or anything like that, but I do know that like he did have a beef with the federal government, hence why he fucking blew a building up. But the wrapping thing is weird. The finding of the C4 thing is weird. But the weirdest part to me, and they don't mention it on Wikipedia, but they did say this, that in the official police report, that Yiki was found with not one, but 2 gunshot wounds to the back of the head. He was covered in blood. The car was covered in blood as if something had been slaughtered in there and put up a fight. His wrists were cut, his throat was cut, and they had evidence that he had bound marks on his arms from where they put handcuffs on him. Now, how are you, regardless of the rest of this shit, how are you going to cut yourself, fucking put handcuffs on, wiggle around, manage to cut yourself again,
and
shoot yourself in the back of the head, remove the handcuffs, completely get rid of those? The pistol was never found either.
It's obviously like, a con job.
Like, what the fuck happened there that they had to off this guy that he saw, like, I mean, that is just like one of those things where, like, now that I know this, that does not sit right with me in any fucking way. And I'm like, fuck, like, they killed 40 fucking kids and like 100 so odd people, you know, and use this guy as a patsy, obviously, but like, what the fuck was the message that they were trying to send there, where this had to be done? Like, if regardless if it was McVeigh or not, or if it was like an internal thing, like, what the fuck is that accomplishing?
I always wonder, like, is this some like satanic ritual fucking
it's kind of
sacrifice, or
well, you know, and
the Ariana Grande concert,
well,
or whatever,
the
like,
fucking Astro World. Remember that? I just brought that up to Allison the other day. She completely forgot about that. Do you remember Astro World? The fucking I
wasn't like too privy about it, but didn't like 12 people get stampeded to death?
They got stampeded to death, and the fucking Travis Scott guy is standing up there going, oh, and there's like a bunch of red light and shit, and it's like, it's fucking cool. Weird, man. Like, it's really fucking
all
sketchy.
Hail the Dark Lord. Me and Joe will sell our souls to Satan if you like make us make 40 grand a month.
I walk. There's two sets of footprints in my sand when I walk on the beach.
2
Jacob.
sets of penises.
I walk 2 helmets dragging on the beach. Me and Jesus walking cocks out. All right, Jake. We can talk about Matthew McConaughey on the next ep whenever we get to it. But you got any final thoughts?
No.
Okay.
I'm having anxiety because I'm gonna be fucking late and miss this batch. Not because of the pod, but because of other outstanding circumstances outside my control. So
all right.
It's usually fun. I knew when I took it, I saw it come up, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, $53." In my head, I'm like, "I'm not gonna make it there on time."
All right, go make it.
Yeah, I'm not. Even I have shit to do after this, which is gonna tie me up, and then I'm fucked. So
fuck it.
Thank you for listening.
Go fuck yourselves.